Hi everyone, Cody McCarty here with Explore Travel Capture, and in today's video I wanted to talk about my Sony FX3, which is hands down my favorite video camera I've ever used. Now right now my big goal for my photo and video gear is to get it as small as possible, while still producing amazing quality. The Sony FX3 has all the features I'm looking for and boasts an amazing image quality and allows me to capture everything I want to capture when I'm out traveling and shooting documentaries. I'm currently filming this video on a Sony A1 that they sent me, so I can kind of see if that might be my one and done camera, because I am missing a little bit of megapixels on the photo side. But honestly, I could take it or leave it on the 8K. I plan on making a review of the A1 on this channel, so you can stick around for that. But let's talk about my FX3. So right here is my typical run and gun rig on my Sony FX3. I have the top handle up here equipped with the MKE 600 Sennheiser microphone. This was the best bang for the buck microphone I could get. And then on the back end of this Condor blue rail that I have attached to the top handle, it extends it a little bit further, and it has a cold shoe where I can attach my Rode Go 2, so that way I can have 2 wireless lab mics and up to 4 channels of audio with the top handle. The main lens that I'll be running and gunning with is the 24-70 Sigma 2.8. The reason I chose this lens is because it covers all the focal range I really need when I'm following around my subjects, and it's a very versatile lens. With the type of content that I'm producing, it's very much run and gun, and I like having one lens that can do most everything I need it to do, with a few specialty lenses that I can pick from in specific use cases. Now, I didn't want to stick my FX3 in a cage, but I did see this hand strap that helps with stabilization in video. It's very comfortable, makes it easy to do a lot of handheld shots when I don't want to be carrying from the top handle, and it's just like an extra point of stability and contact. So what I did is I found this and I attached it to my Arca Swiss plate at the bottom. I use Arca Swiss on all of this because I like my Peak design strap on my backpack. I will stick it to my chest and hike around with that, but I also have mounting plates for my gimbal where I can use the Arca Swiss that works on my tripod and that's on here and mount it all very quickly. So that's kind of how I have my FX3 rigged out. Now that I've kind of shown you how I've rigged up the camera, I figured I could talk about why I chose the FX3 over maybe the cheaper A7S III or another mirrorless camera. There are fantastic mirrorless cameras out right now. I've gotten to play with most of them, and the big selling point for the FX3 was the full frame sensor along with its dynamic range and 10-bit color all throughout every single frame rate was the big draw for me, and the XLR top handle was another big selling point, because to get an XLR top handle on an A7S III, it actually was going to cost more than the FX3. Now, I was shooting on the A7S III, which is a fantastic video camera. It's also my second angle off to the side right over here. It's an amazing video camera that matches almost perfectly to the FX3, but the reason I chose the FX3 at the end of the day was firmware 2.0, which added built-in LUT previews, so I was able to see exactly what my footage was going to look like in the camera, which was a priceless tool for me, especially being out there. I don't like using monitors when I'm out shooting. I only use a monitor in the studio setting. This is already kind of bigger than I'd want. This is about the maximum size. I don't want a monitor hanging off of this. So the second Sony added LUT preview to this camera, I was sold. Now, one thing that I do love about the FX3 is they did not remove the photo capabilities. I do photography more as a hobby. I love photography, but I mostly use photography for time lapses. So 12 megapixels is more than enough for the time lapses that I shoot, and I've shot some amazing time lapses on this FX3. The sensor performs fantastic for photo and for time lapses, and that is why I don't see myself really needing to upgrade this camera or change it around, just because I'm video focused. But if you do both photo and video, the A7 IV, if you don't need all the different frame rate options and you don't need the XLR top handle, is the best bang for buck on the market. I do have a preference towards Sony. There's like a new Panasonic camera that came out too, and Canon has the R6, all fantastic options, but this is why I chose this, is because I wanted 4K in a variety of frame rates, all at full frame with no limitations, and I didn't need more than 12 megapixels for photo. Now, another thing that I really love about this camera is its dual native ISOs. It has two native ISOs where you'll get the best image quality at 800 and 12,800. Both of those get the same dynamic range in my eyes, and there's almost no color shift. If there is, I haven't really noticed it. I can tweak it in post super easily, so it's indistinguishable for me. But I use that 5-stomp jump to 12,800 on this camera all the time. I'm shooting in a lot of tricky lighting situations. I like to shoot outdoors and at night and at all hours, so having that second native ISO at such a high value is really great for me. I know a lot of people don't like that. I personally love it, especially when I was shooting weddings. Shooting weddings, you end up in the dark a lot. Now, I really love it for camping, because getting shots at night by the campfire, having the flexibility to jump up to such a high ISO makes it so I can capture stuff at night. I have filmed the stars at night with this camera. It's, not the best quality. It looks like an older camera, but those are the stars at night, and this camera made it so I could capture video of that, which is an amazing feat in its own right. Now, I had mentioned frame rates. The FX3 can shoot 4K 120 frames per second at 422 10-bit, which looks absolutely stunning. There are a few times where I'm really shooting at 120 frames per second now, but when I do use it, I love the fact that I have it and I'm not limited and I'm not left going, oh, I wish I had it. And switching the frame rates on the FX3, by the way, is faster than any other Sony camera. I literally have it set in my function menu and I can switch from 2460 to 120 in a second. It's really frustrating because if I had that on my A7S III, I would be shooting so much faster. I don't like that I have to set a custom dial to it. I just wish I could change the frame rate with the push of one button like I can on this FX3. Now, another slow motion feature that I don't get to use all the time is the 1080 240 frames per second. I am a fan of seeing the world in a different way, and slow motion is a great way of doing that. So the fact that this has 240 frames per second slow motion really slows things down like a crazy amount. I did a review of this scooter for my private YouTube channel, my vlog channel. It's linked down below, and the client absolutely loved that super slow-mo footage of just how instant the power is on that scooter. It literally goes from like 0 to 40 in 5 seconds, which on a scooter, it feels like you're on a roller coaster ride. So that's kind of nuts. Now, the FX3 has been out for a minute, and I don't know what the price is now, but the footage and the quality that's coming out of this camera is going to be usable for years. I know people who still use the A7S II and still use older cinema cameras from years ago. Sony knocked this one out of the park. I've yet to find a camera at this price range that consistently has been able to get the dynamic range this has gotten and the ability to bring back details like this. I love the look of Sony when it comes to outdoor shots. I think it captures nature and beautifully. Like, I don't know why when I was shooting Canon, the photos from nature, my time lapses, and just the colors did not pop. For outdoor adventure stuff, I think Sony does the best. So that's like my last reason for choosing this. This was just a small talk about the Sony FX3 though. Going forward, we are trying to not make gear reviews on this, more talk about the gear that we use, why we use it, and put a focus on getting out there and adventuring and all that stuff. So the next videos coming out are going to be a mix of the gear that we use to capture adventures, but also some of the stuff that we wish we had at the beginning of our adventures and stuff. So one of the next videos is going to be the 5 accessories we wish we had when we first began camping. So if you're interested in camping and the outdoors and stuff, and you maybe don't know where to start, we got a whole bunch of videos coming talking about that and hopefully getting you guys out and capturing. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.